Skrymgeour, and I did edit the book Moving On, which was physiotherapy, the history of the society in New Zealand from about 1973 or 4 to the year 2000. I came to do it because I saw an ad in the journal or in the newsletter asking for someone to do it. I had just retired rather sooner than I wanted to because of surgery, and was feeling a bit miffed at giving up physiotherapy so young. So I saw the ad and I thought, oh well, they'll have lots of applications, they certainly won't want me. And lo and behold, I suspect there was no other application, and so it was me. I really had no particular qualification except an interest in physiotherapy, and I had done some units of English a long time ago. I started off by going to National Office and getting executive minutes for covering the years. They were huge volumes. I brought them down in the car to Dunedin and pasted them, which took a long time, of the minutes of the council meetings. And then, of course, it was time to actually get on to the real things and talking to people who had done the physiotherapy, who had been in the special interest groups. Now this was really interesting. A lot of the people I didn't ever meet face to face, but I had a lot of email. Thank goodness email was in at that stage. I think I started by writing what I could work out from journals and newsletters, and then sending what I had worked out to each special interest group for their comments and to clarify any mistakes, of which there were quite a few. I recall going to the camping ground at Kuro on our caravan, more or less shutting myself there for about a week to try and work through all the newsletters. Luckily, I worked with someone who had kept all their old newsletters, so I didn't have to go back to Wellington to get the copies of them. Yes, the early newsletters I got from National Office. They didn't have every single one, but they had quite a lot. And that was a fairly small sort of news sheet, you'd call it, rather than a newsletter. And then over the years it has evolved to the very polished presentation we have today. But each newsletter usually has a thing about the special interest groups, so I carefully copied out all the things about each special interest group. It was a very labour-intensive way of doing it, I'm sure. Probably if I'd known more, I could have done it a better way, but that's how I did it. And I did enjoy getting all the contacts back from people. It was really exciting. I would contact whoever was probably the president of each special interest group. In those days, the special interest groups were not nearly as strong as they are today. A lot of them were struggling to keep going, I think, and some of them were gradually starting up over the time that I was doing it. Now, sorry, I have great difficulty actually remembering the names of the people. I could if I went back to my own files and worked them out. Gail, she was Gail de Boer then, now Gail Leach at National Office, was a huge help and would refer me to appropriate people. Joy was also very helpful. Actually pulling this all together was a real problem. I realised I really didn't have either the expertise or the knowledge to produce a good book. At this stage I talked to Margot Skinner, who had already, she had helped me with the cardiothoracic, for instance, and because she lived in Dunedin was easy to access. One thing about Margot, she always answers her emails. It may be after midnight, frequently is, but she does answer them. And she suggested asking for a scholarship to provide an editor, which is what we did. He lived in Dunedin, but I didn't ever meet him. The whole thing was done by email. And it was magic. He could take the words I'd written and reduce them to the numbers required and check for a lot of mistakes. He was very, very helpful. Longacre Press were organised to actually produce the book, and of course there was a contract price for a contract number of words, and we had to bring down all the volumes of material I had down to a suitable size, which, thanks to the editor, we did.